Let us do Pradhana and start the session. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Annado Sri Jagannatha Madguru Sri Jagadguru Mamatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. The only guru of three religions, Traitatiram originator, sensational writer, the author of more than 100 divine holy scriptures, Hindu virtue donor, Sri 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 Acharya Prabodhananda Yogeshwarlu. We are learning Akshara Parabrahma Yogam from Traita Siddhanta Bhagavad Gita, Traitatiram Bhagavad Gita. Last week we learned from 5th Shlokam to 7th Shlokam. Let us recap what we learned last week. So, Paramatma, the Absolute Soul, said that whoever recalls me at the end of the life stage, so he is attaining me, there is no doubt about that. Then he said that, so whichever the feeling you recall always, and whenever you are leaving your body with that uh, memory, uh, you are going to attain that in the next birth itself. So we came to know that in the life, whoever the person keeps their mind on whichever the matter with greater priority on that, he is going to attain that in the next birth if the matter is related to the external world. If his focus is fully on the divine and he always recalls the divine, so at the end of the life, so when he could able to recall that matter, the divine matter, then he is going to attain the God. So, attaining the God is the bigger thing than the worldly related matter. So, some people think that at the end of the life, just we remember the God, they think, but it's not possible at all. God clearly is saying that by practice, when you keep more and more focus on a matter whichever seems you very very important, that is the only thing your mind is going to recall at the time of the last stage of your life itself. If not, it is not going to bring, because the mind is the one which memorizes all the matters. So it also has to get destroyed. So before getting destroyed, at the final moment, the mind is going to bring a matter which becomes the very very important in his life. That matter will come to him at the end of the life stage. After that, the mind will be destroyed. So the person who is going to die, so he is going to be with the last memory itself. So based on that, he is going to get the either new birth or attaining the God. If somebody is practicing more and more about the music, he will be focusing always in his whole in his always on the music itself, in his whole life itself. At the end of the life stage, he will memorize that music activities and so on. Then, so in the next birth, he will start his journey with the music itself. The same thing with the research scientist also. If the research scientist is doing research on a particular matter in his whole life, so at the end of the life stage, he is going to memorize that itself, and after taking new birth, then he will be doing the same thing again. So we have to decide between our interest either on the world, either on the divine itself. If your interest is more on the divine, you need not born again When you recall the divine at the end of the life stage, you will become the God. Such a great position you are going to get. So, at least now we should think which way we need to follow, which is the greatest thing. So, that's what we learned in the last week. Um, and also, God said, the seventh slokam also we came to know that, right? So, in order to do what we have to, how, which way we can get that, for that also God said that. So, all the time, every time you recall me in your mind, so you offer your intellect and mind to the God, so you will attain the God. There is no doubt about that. That way, God said that. So, and also, one thing He said, so God in the form of Bhagavan, He said that. So, when Bhagavan is there on the earth, that is applicable. When Bhagavan is not there physically, then how do we go? How do we keep our focus on Him? So that's the doubt we got. So when Bhagavan is not on the earth, so when we worship his idol, it becomes yogam. Again, we have to worship the formless God. Formless God is Atma itself, the immortal soul. We have to worship immortal soul. Whenever the Bhagavan or Guru is on the earth, we must worship Bhagavan or Guru whenever we know. If we don't know, if we go against him, what happens? We don't get the divine fire, which will burn the karma. So, if we don't get divine fire, so we don't burn the karma at all. That's what the thing we need to understand. So, the Bhagavan's the Bhagavan's idol can become pratima. Pratima means it's exactly like Bhagavan. So it is not a vigraha. It's not a vigraha at all. So vigrahas are different. Bhagavan's idol does not become vigraha. It is a pratima. That means it's like a Xerox copy of Bhagavan, we can say. So when you worship that, so you will get the yogam. But whenever really Bhagavan is there on the earth, if you can identify him and worship him, your karma is going to burn very fast. If he is not available, even though you worship his idol, you have to again worship immortal soul. That's what you have to do. So that explanation Swami provided to us. So we have to say many thanks to Swami for providing such a great wisdom. Let us move on. Today let's learn 8th slokam onwards. अभ्यासयोगयुक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्था अनुचिन्तयन्. This slokam is talking about immortal soul and absolute soul. So, by practice, if anyone is not letting his mind go on to other matters, and he is always being in yogam itself, and if he is thinking about the immortal soul always, he will attain the absolute soul, the greatest soul, the divine itself, divine Purusha he is going to attain. So, in the previous slokam, he taught about the Sakaram, that means the God with form, he is Bhagavan. So, when Bhagavan is there, we have to worship him so that our karma will be destroyed very fast. So, when the formful God is not there, Asakaram is not there, then we have to become the yogis of soul yogis. So yogi getting unification with the immortal soul. That way we have to become. So that is called Atma Yogi. Atma Yogi means the yogi, he is unifying with the immortal soul. So he is called Atma Yogi. So, in order to know the Atma, what we have to do? Uh, we have to stop the mind with practice. So when you do practicing to stop the mind and its activity, so then what happens? So you will control your mind. The mind will not go on to the other matters at all. Then your view should be internal to your body itself. Then your mind, what happens? The mind is going to put focus on the Atma. When that thing happens, then the wisdom fire will be generated. That wisdom fire is going to burn your karma. When that happens, so when all his karma is burnt out totally, then there is no rebirth to the yogi. So that yogi will not take a new birth, and he will merge with the noblest Purusha, the noblest Purusha. He is absolute soul. He is going, the yogi is going to attain that absolute soul. So, how is that absolute soul? How do we attain that? So, that matter is told in the 9th and 10th slokams. Let us see what is he saying over here in 9th and 10th slokams. कविं पुराणमनुशासितारमनोरणीयां समनुस्मरेद्यः सर्वस्य धातारमचिन्त्य रूपमादित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् प्रयाणकाले मनसा अचलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमावेश्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम्. These two slokams are talking about three souls: mortal soul, immortal soul, and absolute soul. The absolute soul, how he is? He is Sarvadarshi. He can see everything everywhere, and he is very ancient, and he dictates whole world, and he is the subtle to subtle itself. He is the protector of everything. He protects everything. He cannot be known to our thinkings, and he got the brightness like a sunlight. He is beyond the ignorance. Such a great absolute soul. The person who wants to attain him, that person with the whole force of his yogam, at the time of death, if he can keep his concentration between his eyebrows, then what happens? His life force will stop. That means his breathing, his breath will entirely stop. In that situation, he is going to merge with Paramatma. Let us go in detail what Swami explained to us. So that will let us know many things, many secrets in that. So if we clearly understand, if we want to understand clearly, we should know whom we are, uh, whom to worship, and whom to attain, right? So we have to attain absolute soul, Paramatma, and our focus should be on immortal soul. We are being the immortal soul. We are being the mortal soul. We need to attain the absolute soul, but we have to put focus on the immortal soul. We came to know that we cannot worship absolute soul because he is beyond beyond our senses at all senses. So we cannot directly reach him, we cannot directly attain him. So the way is only immortal soul. Here the traveler, The traveler is mortal soul. The way is immortal soul. The destination is absolute soul. So the traveler who is traveling on the path, he must know his destination first. So he has to know to which village he is going and what kind of village is that. He has to know from other people where is the way, how do we uh, reach that. So whenever we come to know that, when we follow that, we will go to the destination village, right? Similarly, our destination, the Jivatma, the mortal soul's final destination is liberation. So God said about that here in these slokams, how do we reach that destination, that is liberation. So the liberation is not a particular place where do you travel and reach there, and it is not even a realm or lokam. Lokam means which has the experiences. It is beyond the experience itself. It's not an experience. It's beyond experience. We can say it's a paralokam. So whenever the liberation is the liberation, moksham, mukti, merging, salvation, all are the same. All are same. So because of the karma, we are keep on getting birth, taking many births, living, and again we get the death. So birth and death, we are in the birth and death cycle itself. So why that is happening? Because of the bondages of karma we have. When the bondages of the karma is gone, like a uh, like one criminal, he is inside the jail itself. When he is released, he is out of the jail, right? The similar way, when the karma is totally destroyed, when there is no bondages of karma to you, then you are liberated. So when you are liberated from the karma, you will become sarvadarshi. That means you can see everything. You can see entire world, universe, everything you can see. So when you are living within the body, your eyes can see only to a particular distance, that too in front of you. You can't see even the backside also. But whenever you get the liberation, you can see entire world. So there are no limits to you. You can see anything. Such a great thing you will achieve. So um, and when you get the liberation, you will come to know about all the things from the beginning. All the things from the beginning itself. So when you are living with the body, you cannot know your past birth uh, and what did you do in the past birth. When you get liberated, you will know everything. So when you are with your body, even you cannot memorize what happened in last 10 days, right? But when you get liberated, you will come to know all the things. You can recall everything in all the births since from the beginning onwards. See, such a great thing. So when you are living with a body, you cannot even control your family members. You cannot command them at all. Such kind of state you have, right? When you get the liberation, you you will get the ability to command entire universe itself. So when you are living as a ordinary being, so you cannot see the subtle things, only physical things you can see, right? So when you get liberated, you will become subtle to the subtle, so that you can see the subtle things as well. And also you will become beyond the senses. You will become the beyond the senses, the person beyond the senses, so no mind can reach you. When you get the liberation, so you will become like the uh, billion times brighter than the sun. You will become billion times brighter than the sun. See, such a great stage you are going to attain by liberation. So in order to get that one, the person, what he has to do, he has to control his mind, not let that mind go on to the other external matters. He has to keep his focus between two eyebrows, and he has to see with his mind. That means his mind should focus on there and continuously watching. So when that thing is happening, immediately the stability of the mind happens. Mind is stable, it's stable completely. In that situation, the breathing which is going inside coming outside will stop inside your nostrils. So the breathing will stop over there. In that situation, what happens? The mind will be focusing on the Atma, the immortal soul, and his total focus is going to be on the Atma itself. So, this kind of situation happens only to the yogis. So, with awareness, the yogis could be able to do that one at the time of the last stage of the death. But for the other people, ignorant people, they are going to get the death when they are uh, when they don't even know. So they forget when the death is happening. They don't even know. In case of the ignorant people, the yogis only get the death when they are aware, when they are awake itself. So here Swami is referring about the glands here. What he is saying, the glands are the glands are playing important role in the body to make the body to grow or shrink. That means the glands are the main reason to make your body to get the old age also, and the glands are the main reason to keep your body healthy, and they are the one playing important role to decide your age also. So the liquids, the whatever the liquids are coming out from the glands, so they are uh, making your body healthy or unhealthy, all those things. This matter is also told by the scientists as well, the scientists. So there is one gland which is the tiny, very smaller one, that is called pituitary gland. That is called the king of the gland itself. It is in the center of the head itself. So where it is located really is, there is a small tongue, right? You have to draw a one line upward, and there is a and you have to draw one line horizontally from the uh, center of the two eyebrows. So one line horizontally from the uh, small tongue upward, uh, one uh, line. Wherever they condemn, that place is called the uh, pituitary gland place. So yogis will keep their focus on that part itself, on the pituitary gland itself. So usually that pituitary gland will be sending the rays into the body. They come as waves. But inside the yogis, the strength of the waves are very stronger, very high. So those waves with a lot of strength in the yogis body itself. So whenever the mind is focused on that portion, then uh, mind will provide that experience to the uh, immortal soul. Mortal soul is going to experience that. So during that situation, there is no breathing inside the nostrils itself. So that way, what happens, the final breath is not coming out of the nostrils in case of yogis, and it is submerging inside the body itself. So there itself it is staying over there. Then the mortal soul is able to know about the immortal soul there, and finally he is merging with absolute soul inside the body itself. But in case of the ignorant people, in case of the normal people, what happens, the breath is coming out and he is going to die immediately after that. So he is going to get the rebirth. So in the rebirth, what happens for the ignorant people who are not yogis? So whenever he leaves the body, so who is leaving the body? Immortal soul is going to leave the body, and immortal soul will take the mortal soul along with that, and also whatever the karma he earned and all the emotions, it will carry forward to the new body, and from there his new life is going to start over there, and the immortal soul will drive the mortal soul according to the karma itself. But in case of yogis, what is happening at the time of death, his whole uh, karma is going to be destroyed. So his karma got destroyed at the time of the death itself, and all his emotions are destroyed totally. They become uh, useless, so no use with them, and his mind is focused on the atma itself, and the immortal soul is focusing on the atma itself. In that situation, his intellect also along with the mortal soul until the final stage, then his mind, intellect, and mortals and his mind and intellect will become one single substance. Then it merges with the immortal soul. Then what happens, all become one substance along with the mortal soul, mind, intellect, immortal soul, all four become one substance. Then it is going to merge with the absolute soul. After that, what happens, his body becomes no body becomes no life. So body will not have any life in that. So some people will have some doubt here. Let us see what kind of doubt they will have. So if somebody is doing yogam, Brahma yogam every day, so in that situation also, his breath is going to stop. His mind is also stable. So he got the controlled mind. He will have the same focus uh, between two eyebrows, and he will be putting focus on the pituitary gland itself. Uh, then uh, um, then why why he is not uh, getting unification? Why he is not merging with absolute soul? Because all the things are similar over here also, right? So Here Swami is saying that there is a speciality between the two instances. The instance at the time of the death and instance at the time of every yogam. So every Brahma yogam, every transcendental yogam we can say. So what is that? So here we need to know. In case of every yogam every day, whatever he is doing, he is still having the karma itself. So as long as karma remains, he does not get liberation. Karma has to get totally destroyed. So when karma is not destroyed, the mind, intellect, and mortal soul is not becoming one substance. They are not merging. They are not merging together. So there, in every yogam, when mind is providing the experience of the immortal soul, the buddhi is taking that and it is warning the mind. Why it is warning the mind? Because mind may go on to the other matters. So the intellect will be warning always the mind, mind not to go on to the other matters and keep study on the atma itself. During that time, the mortal soul is experiencing the atma itself. So, and also the intellect, what it will be doing, it will be analyzing more and more about the Atma and providing much more greater joyful state to the immortal soul itself. So, in that situation, uh, during that yogam, the mind is separate, intellect is separate, and mortal soul is separate, and immortal soul is separate. All are separate. All are separate. Uh, so at the time, at the time of the mm, at the time of the death, what is happening when the same kind of yogam is there at the time of death? What is happening? So the mind, intellect, and mortal soul are becoming one substance. That substance is merging with the immortal soul. Then it becomes the special atma, special uh, soul. Then it is becoming the it is easily able to merge with the absolute soul itself. But it's not happening in the regular yogam. In the regular yogam, the mortal soul is performing the regular yogam. During that yogam, what is happening? Because his karma remains, so he is not becoming the absolute soul. So he has to continue his yogam until his all his karma is burnt totally, destroyed totally. So we came to know, so far we came to know about the Brahma yogis. Daily whenever they do yogam, their karma is getting destroyed, but it's not destroyed in a total. His karma is destroying gradually. So still his karma is remaining over there. He has not yet uh, his mind, intellect, himself, and immortal soul are not becoming one substance and not merging with the absolute soul. But whenever the karma is totally destroyed, when that thing happens, that time for the Brahma yogis, the mind, intellect, and immortal soul all are becoming one substance and they are easily able to merge with the absolute soul. Then he is liberated. So that is about Brahma Yogis. So let us know about Karma Yogis. In case of Karma Yogi has to do all the tasks. Brahma Yogi does not. Brahma Yogi does not do any task. He has to stay idle at one place and he does not do any activities. His karma is stopped there itself. For Karma Yogi, he has to do tasks, but he will have control on his ego. So ego does not he will not get ego. When he is not getting the ego, So he is in the Karma Yogam itself. So when he got the control on his ego, when his karma is also destroyed at the time of the birth, what happens? So um, the the mortal soul is going to merge with immortal soul, then then the special atma is going to merge with the absolute soul. So this is what happens for the yogis who destroyed their entire karma and when they get the death. Like that, the yogis are getting the liberation within their body itself and they are attaining absolute soul. As our elders said, wherever you search, there you will find. There is no doubt that he is inside here. Um, is he here? Is he there? There is no doubt about that, as our elders said. So, for the yogis, what our Swami is saying, for the yogis within the body itself, they can, they will attain absolute soul itself. That's what the main explanation Swami provided to us. So we should say many thanks to Swami for providing such a great explanation about these two slokams where the yogi is getting liberated whenever he destroyed all his karma by doing the yogam itself. So if you have any doubts, you can ask here. If not, let us do Mangala Prarthana and end the session. Om Mangalam Gurudevaya Mahaniya Prabodhatmane Sarvaloka Sharanyaya Sadhurupaya Mangalam. Prabodharpanam to everyone.